B to Z, an inside look at Acton and Boxborough. I'm Stephen Altieri.
And I'm Rachel Regan. Here's what's happening this week at AB.
We are in the final days of the 2011-2012 academic school year. The class of 2012 officially became graduates of AB on Friday, June 1st, with a commencement ceremony on Leary Field. Over 500 students received their diplomas.
Principal Dr. Callan spoke of how this senior class was unique.
Class of 2012, your time here at AB has been nothing if not action-filled. Academic accomplishments through the roof, championships in every imaginable sports and activity, school plays that rivaled Broadway, a marching band worthy of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade.
Later, social studies teacher Mr. Menninger offered up some advice for seniors during his sending forth speech.
Hunt knowledge like it's your next dinner. Seek it, explore, travel our planet, ask questions, seek answers. Never, ever, ever stop learning.
Congratulations to all members of the class of 2012 and best of luck in your future endeavors.
The school year is not quite over for the rest of us. The last day of classes take place on Monday, June 11th. That will be followed by 4 days of final exams with the official last day of school on Friday, June 15th.
Later in the show, we'll have more news and information to help students plan for next school year. Stay tuned for that.
Prior to graduation, Scholarship Night was held on Tuesday, May 29th in the high school auditorium. Over $200,000 in local scholarships were presented to graduating seniors. Parents of seniors who are interested in purchasing pictures that were taken at the scholarship ceremony can log on to www.lifetouchevents.com.
On June 4th through June 8th, the UMass Medical Center's Teen Drive program took place at the high school. DRIVE stands for Distracted Reality and Interactive Virtual Education. The program allowed some students to spend 30 minutes in a simulator called One Simple Decision.
The simulator focused on the perils of distracted driving, including the use of cell phones, distractions from peers, and driving under the influence of alcohol. Students found it to be a unique learning experience.
The Teen Drive program allows you to know what it's like to drive impaired, like when you're texting and driving or if you're drunk driving.
Occasionally, on AB to Z, we profile interesting, unique, or inspiring members of the local community. We call these community profiles. Today, we're going to profile two such community members.
The first is a teacher and coach in the Acton-Boxborough school system, and to say he inspires his students and athletes would be an understatement. Here's our story on Brian Crossman.
Mr. Crossman is a very highly respected and fun AB boys track coach. He takes his work seriously and helps the whole team.
He's always knowledgeable about what's happening on other teams, let alone our own team. And he really has an eye on what the other coaches are doing, working with the different athletes. So that really helps. I very much equate running a track and field program to basically being really good at chess. You have to know exactly who's going to do what and where the athletes are going to perform their best. And when you have, upwards of 80 boys on a track team, that's a tall order. But he does it very well, enjoys doing it, and we're all lucky to have him.
Mr. Crossman takes great pride in helping runners succeed or improve.
For me, the best thing is to see the athletes improve. Whether you're the superstar of the team or the person who just comes out kind of for health purposes, I really love to see that athlete make strides and improvements, and that's what I take a lot of pride in.
Mr. Crossman has many coaching methods, each for a specific athlete.
Well, there's a lot of different methods. A lot of it you have to evaluate your athletes. You have to know the athlete you're working with. You have a lot of different personalities. On this team this year, we had 93 boys. So we try to set the tone from the beginning of the season and set a standard of things that are expected of you. And then in terms of evaluation of the athlete, we'll look for what might work best for them because there's 17 events in track and field. They may be a thrower, a jumper, or a sprinter, and we'll give them a tryout, and eventually you'll start to see some improvement in one of those areas, or they can shift an event. And I've seen kids shift an event mid-season, and next thing you know, they're a DCL All-Star in a few weeks. It has happened.
Another one of Mr. Crossman's loves is teaching Minutemen Tech at the junior high school. He takes great pride in connecting his past athletic accomplishments into classroom teaching today.
Well, a lot of things, my mother used to say this, and my sister would say this, try to find what your passion is, get someone to pay you to do it. And as a kid, I really worked with all my hands love to build things. And my sister kind of steered me in one direction towards college, said, you might be a really good engineering teacher. And I kind of not fell into that, but evolved into that, I should say. And it's a passion of mine. I still love teaching the engineering class.
I asked some of Mr. Crossman's former students to see how they liked his teaching.
I really liked how Mr. Crossman incorporated stuff from real life into what he taught. So like when he was going when we were building the bobsleds, he talked about how he went bobsledding himself, and he showed us cool running.
And it was also cool how he made everything into like a competition, so it was really cool. So like best person, you would race like the bobsleds and the cars, and like see which rocket went the highest.
The CO2
it was really
tanks were
cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know, they were cool.
Mr. Crossman had a great opportunity to compete in the World Cup final for Ireland.
Yeah, it was. And when I first started here in the year 2000, I developed this curriculum for bobsledding and built the bobsled track in my room. And at the same time, within about a month after I built the track, a friend of mine who bobsleds for Ireland, I'm a citizen through my grandmother, he had me to come out to Utah to help him out. And he took me down for a run, we crashed. And then he said next day, he said, let's see how fast you can push the bobsled. So I pushed it as hard as I could, and I beat their best time ever. So my 5th and 6th time ever in a bobsled, I was pushing him in the World Cup final for Ireland. So I was in an international competition, such a raw rookie.
Mr. Crossman discovered his love for track during high school and college. He experimented with several different events to see which ones worked best for him.
Oh, high school track, I was really not that great an athlete to start out with. And, I was like a 5-minute and 30-second miler. And I was kind of fast as a child. And I told my coach, I think I should try the sprints. He said, we'll put you in the sprints. And then he realized, boy, this guy has some speed. And over 4 years of really training hard, I ended up becoming New England high school champion in 1984. I was second in the All-State meet, and from there I really started to realize that I'm doing pretty well at this, and it carried over into college.
Mr. Crossman, like any other runner, found events that he ran best in and focused all his energy on excelling in those events.
High school, I ran anything from the 55-meter dash, which is an indoor event, to 600-yard run. So I did most of the longer sprints. I did the shorter sprints for the points for our team. And into college, I did mostly the 400-meter sprint, which I was in the 200-meter in the relay. It was a 13-time All-America in college.
Mr. Crossman also loves to be with his daughter, wife, and dog, and go on family trips with them.
Yeah, well, my family and I do a lot of things together, like we go hiking, we'll go to the theater together. We like to go down the Cape Cod a lot, so we really enjoy doing things like that.
His running career has led him to travel to many places.
Yeah, I've been around Europe a few times. I've been to Estonia, I've been to Austria, then I've been to some places like as far away as California, United States. I've been to Bermuda. A lot of times these countries that I went to over in Europe especially were to compete.
The track has always felt like a second home to Mr. Crossman, so it is no wonder that he just can't stay away from it. Thanks, Mr. Crossman, for your time. Later in the program, we'll meet another interesting member of the community. In other news, yearbooks have arrived. If you pre-ordered one, see Miss Salino in the library. If you did not pre-order a yearbook, there are a limited number available at a cost of $75 each.
Senior report cards will be mailed home during the week of June 4th. Report cards for grades 9 through 11 will be mailed home the week of June 18th.
Attention juniors. You will be receiving a postcard in the mail soon with an appointment date for your senior portrait sitting. The card will include time and date of the sitting as well as directions on how to reschedule your appointment.
This fall, a new advisory program will begin at AB. Students in all grades will be assigned to a group of roughly 11 to 12 people who will meet twice per cycle with a faculty advisor. We asked Principal Dr. Callan where the idea came from and how it is going to work.
The idea really came from students here, students who really commented that while there are lots of things we do well here at AB, what they wanted to see was more time to build community and more time to build connections with teachers, make connections across different cliques of students.
Dr. Callan also talked about what she hopes the program will accomplish.
I hope that it'll make everybody here at AB feel like they have somebody who's watching out for them, that give everybody kind of a home base and a feeling that we're a tighter community and that everybody's really cared about as a person.
It's time now for another community profile. And next up we introduce to you an AB student who is juggling all of life's challenges. Literally. Spencer Hearn appears to be an average Acton-Boxborough Regional High School student, but he is also a world-class juggler. He performs at simple high school events, performs at colleges. It also has worldwide competitions in places such as New York and Las Vegas. He juggles anything from batons to rings and puts on quite a show. I got the opportunity to sit down with Spencer and talk about his juggling.
When I was in 5th grade, I just saw a video of a guy juggling 3 balls, and I thought I want to know how to do that because he was doing tricks and things I'd never seen before, so it inspired me to start juggling.
In order to get this good, you need to practice, and that's exactly what Spencer did to get this good.
When I first started, I practiced maybe a couple times a week whenever I felt like it. And then between 9th and 10th grade, I was practicing almost every day for 2 to 3 hours. And now I practice about 4 times a week for about an hour and a half each time.
Because of juggling, Spencer's been able to travel many places.
I went to Las Vegas in 8th grade and between the summer of my freshman and my sophomore year. And I competed in a competition there. And I've also gone to New York for not a competition, but just to show what I have and see other jugglers there too. And just recently I've been doing shows around Assumption College and different universities.
Spencer told me how he did in competitions in Las Vegas.
The first one, when I was in 8th grade, I came in 2nd place. That was for years 16 and under. And when I was on the second time I went to Las Vegas, I got 1st place in my rings.
All right.
My rings routine, it's my specialty.
I asked Spencer his feelings about juggling as an art and a sport.
Well, the way I see it from my experience, there's juggling as more of a sport on more of a technicality level where you're just trying to do the hardest thing you can do with the most amount of objects, try to do it with the best form. You know, it's kind of like more like how the Olympics are styled, kind of. You just have to have the best posture and do everything the perfect way. And you just have to practice to solidify these hard tricks. Then there's also juggling more as an art, where this is kind of what I'm into now, where you're just really trying to, instead of doing tricks people have already done and trying to like push those boundaries, you're more pushing the boundaries of what can be done with it. Like go back to 3 clubs and try to make some new movements, some really new concepts that nobody has ever thought of before. And then I can incorporate that into a 3rd type of juggling I see, which is more centered toward performing for an audience, where you're just trying to do flashy tricks that the audience likes. So there might be a really hard trick you can do that other jugglers would see as really hard and respect it, but if you're in front of an audience of just people who have never seen juggling before, they might not see it for what it is. So that's why you see people doing fire and knives, because, you know, audiences really like that. So when I'm performing, I try to incorporate both really hard stuff that I can do along with what I made up, and even, you know, combine them together.
Spencer's ability to bring together all aspects of juggling makes him so popular. I talked to some of Spencer's biggest fans to get a true insight into the legend of Spencer's juggling.
Throughout the years, I've really seen Spencer grow from a boy into a man. You see, he started out as juggling with 2 balls, you know, maybe switching it up with one hand, but he's got 3 balls now, 4, 5, he's got rings, he's got every trick in the book. And, you know, we're just glad to be able to be here and support him. He's an inspiration to all of us. He makes us want to go out there and do great things. Thank you, Spencer.
Spencer Hearn is an inspiration to others and a fantastic juggler, which is why I decided to ask him what his future was going to be with juggling.
I mean, when I'm an adult, I won't be doing it as a job, or I don't plan on it. But as for this coming summer, it's definitely going to be my summer job. I'm definitely going to be going around and doing some shows and trying to make a substantial amount of money through that.
To close it all out, I got to see one of Spencer's tricks up close.
Thanks, Spence, and good luck in the future. In sports, it was another hugely successful spring sports season for AB, as 6 varsity teams captured DCL titles.
Congratulations go out to the softball team, boys lacrosse team, boys and girls tennis teams, and the boys and girls track teams.
For fall athletes, it's not too early to begin thinking about preparing for fall sports seasons. We asked Director of Athletics, Mr. DC, when fall tryouts begin and what athletes need to do in advance to be eligible.
They have to make sure that their green forms have been completed. They take the concussion education course and sign off. That's also on the green form. And they bring in a valid physical. And during the summer, you'll receive a mailing that'll tell you the dates that the nurses will be available to sign off on the green forms.
Lastly, a reminder that the first day of school for next year is Tuesday, August 28th.
That does it for today's show. This is our last show of the school year. We'll be back in the fall with all new editions of A-B to Z. I'm Rachel Regan.
And I'm Stephen Altieri. Thanks for watching.
Once there was a way to get back homeward. Once there was a way to get back home. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing a lullaby. Golden slumbers fill your eyes. Smiles await you when you rise. Sleep, pretty darling, do not cry. And I will sing a lullaby. Once there was a way to get back home. Once there was a way